Hello everyone. Welcome back to Design Hat Talks. Today we all know how important design is for any business. But is there any business in design field? How can you live the life of an entrepreneur and pursue your passion for design? I'm happy to welcome Akshita Bindra, who is the founder of Together, which is an innovative UX design studio. Akshita will help all of us know how can we start business in this vast field. Over to you, Akshita.
Thank you so much, Siddhi. I am really excited to be here. And just give me a minute, I'll share my presentation so that we can quickly start with
Sure,
learning
definitely.
how people can start a business in design. All right, here we have it. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So, hi everyone, I am Akshita and I have been in the design industry for about 6 years now. I started by, entering the design field by going to a design college, and then I worked as a UI UX designer, and now I started my own design agency where we work with multiple brands and help them design the UI UX for their mobile application and websites. So, just to give you, a gist of what we'll be covering today. So, first we learn what is UI UX design. Then we learn how you can start as a UI UX designer, multiple ways you can enter the industry even if you're not, from a design background. Then we'll go over the tools for designing that you need to know in order to work as a UI UX designer or start your own business. And towards the end, we learn how, like, what it takes to, actually start a design agency and how you can start your agency. So first up, an introduction to UI UX design. So UX stands for user experience and UI stands for user interface. Now UX applies to anything that can be experienced, be it a website, be it a mobile application, be it a coffee machine, or even a visit to the supermarket. So the user experience part here refers to the interaction between the user and a product. The product can be anything. Now, the main purpose of UX design is to create easy, efficient, relevant, and an all-round pleasant experience for the end user. So UX designer plans how a website or a mobile app will function and what all steps it will have for the users. So this is what UX is, or user experience is. Now UI stands for user interface. So UI design considers the look, feel, and interactivity of the product. So a UI designer will think about the icons, the buttons, the typography, color scheme, spacing, types of images, all these factors that will go on the the mobile app or the website. So UX design, the now one word that aptly describes the relationship between UI and UX is interdependency. So a lot of people think that UX is a separate entity from UI, but the truth is that both the elements of UX and UI are very, very important, and they must go in hand in order to create a great product for the user. So as you can see here, UX without UI is like a frame of a sculpture with no paper mache on it. So there's a structure, there's something, some background work is there, but nothing solid for you to see as a user. Whereas UI without UX is like a painter just slapping paint onto a canvas without any thought. So there is something for you to see, but there's no thought gone behind it. It's just there. So this is a gist of what UI and UX is all about. Now coming to how you can start as a UI UX designer. So there are three broad ways. I will be covering all three of them in detail and telling you about the pros and cons for each so you can select which way you want to go. So the first and the most easiest way is to go to a design school. So I went to a design school. It was a 4-year degree. So I spent 4 years in a design school. It's not called a college. We call it a design school. So this is the easiest way because, after your 12th or maybe, for your master's, you can just go do a degree in design, do your bachelor's or master's in design. And that's an easy way into the industry. Now the cons of it is very time consuming. Like I spent 4 years learning design. It is heavy on the pocket. It is costly because it's a full-fledged degree. Next is like one pro that I feel people who go to design school have an advantage over others is because they get that network. everybody in a design school with you, all your classmates are people who are interested in design. So everybody comes from different background, they have different knowledge set, different skill sets, and different end goal also. Like somebody wants to start their business after college, somebody wants to go directly for masters, somebody wants to work as a designer. So everything is very different, it's very vast, and you get so much to learn from each other. The second is your faculty. Now, those are the people who will teach you, who will mentor you. So you get direct access to an industry mentor, without paying any extra cost. It's all part of your learning. And design schools don't have books. Like we didn't have any books, we didn't have written exams, we had juries. So we will be given one project or two projects per subject for a semester, and at the end of the semester we have to showcase to the jury whatever work we have done. So the whole learning experience that they have from you take up a project on your own, you do the research, you talk to people, you do interviews, you do user research, then you design your product, then you weigh the pros and cons, and then you present it to someone as the owner of the product. So it builds a lot of confidence. There's so much to learn from in a design school, but definitely it's expensive and it is time consuming. So the next best alternative is to take an online UI UX course. So there are a lot of courses these days on the internet that you can take up. So I think this is one great way of even entering the design field if you're someone from a different background. So for example, I have met people who are from BBA background, who are from marketing, who are from tech background, who have done BTech as bachelors, and now they want to enter the design industry. So just take up a short course, long course, get yourself familiar with the concepts, because I think now is the best time that I see a lot of courses, a lot of people teaching design to students, which saves a lot of time for you. You don't have to go to a college, you don't have to give all that exams, you don't have to spend 4 years. You can learn UI UX within 3 months, 6 months, 7 months, and get direct access to the industry as well, because nobody asks you in degree as a mandatory thing while you're applying for a job or while you're looking for clients. If you know what you do, if you are good at design, if you know the basics, you know the concepts, everything is clear for you, nobody's going to ask you for a design degree. So there are a lot of courses like Udemy is a platform you can learn from. They have very cheap courses. So courses starting with 500 rupees. If there's some deal going on, you'll also get it for 350 rupees. But I think the downside of that is that you don't get access to a person there. You're learning at your own speed, you're learning on your own. If you have any doubt, you can just comment it, email it, and they might not reply. So that is one downside of it, but there are a lot of people who teach UI UX as well. Like me, I also teach UI UX design to students who want to enter this field. So get courses that give you access to people who have been in the industry and who can mentor you. Now next is teach yourself. So there are tons of resources available on the internet for free. Just go on YouTube, look for videos, read articles, a lot of things. You can learn UI UX design on your own without spending any money as well. But again, that's very time consuming, because you're on your own, you're learning at your own speed, you don't know whatever you're learning is right or not. If you have any doubt, you have nowhere to go other than the internet. So it is very time consuming, and it's a trial and error game, right? But it's not true that you can learn from the internet also. All right, so that's still an option that you can teach yourself. So these are the three major ways that you can enter the design industry and start and learn about UI UX design. So first is you can go to a design school, second is you can take an online UI UX course, and third is you can teach yourself. Now next is tools. Now tools is something that is very, very important, because design is something that you do on software, so it is software dependent. But software is not the only thing that you need to know, okay? But it is a very important part of it. That is why we have it here, and I wanted to talk about it to you. So majorly there are three software for UI UX design. One is XD, second is Figma, and third is Sketch. Now Sketch is something that is only available on Mac. So if you're a Windows user, you will not be able to access Sketch. Sketch is also a paid software, but it's very good. Okay, so if you're someone who uses Mac, do try it. Okay, it's very good. The features, the prototyping tools, everything, it's very good. Next is Figma and XD. Now, Figma is an online based software. So, you don't have to install it on your laptop. You can just go on Chrome, type Figma, go on their website, create an account, and start using it. It's as simple. You don't have to install anything. But on XD, you have to install the software just like, Illustrator or Photoshop. So, you have to install it on your laptop. But because Figma is an online tool, you do need a very strong internet connection to work on it. Whereas XD, you can work without an internet connection as well. Now, XD is compatible with Illustrator and Photoshop because it's an Adobe product, so it is very compatible with it. So, in case you want some graphics to be made, go on XD, design it, edit it, and just copy paste it here. It's as simple. Similar for Photoshop, but Figma you can't do that. You do need to there are different tools available, but you can't use Illustrator or Photoshop with Figma. Both these softwares have more or less the same tools. So in case you know XD, you can easily transition to Figma. In case you know Figma, you can easily transition to XD. But it's very important to know at least one of these softwares so that you can work as a UI UX designer. We in the agency majorly use XD because our clients tell us to use XD because their development team is more well versed with it. So they tell us, that we want you to work on XD. But if somebody comes tomorrow and says, I want it on Figma, then I can easily transition into Figma because I know XD, the tools, the working, everything is more or less same. The only difference is, a bit of layouting, and XD is something that's installed on my laptop, and Figma is something I have to, use on the internet. So that is about the tools. Now coming to what it takes to start a design agency. So firstly, what is a design agency? So design agency is a business, it's a company that works on the design aspect for other brands. It's just like another company that works on the design aspect of other brands. In my case, it's a UI UX design agency. So we work only on the UI UX design for other brands. Now, if you want to start a design agency, here are some steps that you can follow. So firstly, it's very important to create a lead generation model for yourself. Now, when I say lead generation model, it means that a way to attract your target audience. For that, you need to create your target audience. You need to understand who you want to work with because it's your business. You decide who you want to work with. Now, there are various categories. Now, you can't be targeting everybody, right? Like if I'm a UI UX design agency and I want to work on UI UX design, I can't be just randomly posting it on my Facebook page because there I have people from various backgrounds, My post is going to reach various people, and a lot of them are not the kind of people who will buy my services. Like for example, a college student, I can't go and pitch to a college student that I'm a UI UX designer, get your stuff designed by me. He does not have the money, he might not have an idea, he might have one, and it's not a priority for him, right? But if I target a startup, somebody who's planning to launch their mobile application in the market, something like Instagram, a social media platform for example, then those are the kind of people who will buy my services, who need my services, right? So those are the people I want to target. So that's my target audience. Now, there are various things you can, various categories or niche you can go into. For example, startups. Go a step further, ed tech startups, so tech startups, lifestyle startups. If not startups, you can go for Instagram coaches. If not that, you can go for MSME. Or you can say, I want to work with brands who have 100 crore turnover. Or I want to work with brands who only have 1,000 crore turnover or more. So you define your target audience, and it is very important in the beginning. You can't say I work for anybody, right? You can't say that I'm a UI UX designer, anybody who needs the service, I'll work for them. Because it will firstly not position yourself as an expert. It's like, you just want work. But you want quality work, right? You want good, high paying clients, not anybody, just, random people who want to get their website designed. You want good leads so that you enjoy working for them and you get good payment for it. So define your target audience because that will help you in defining your lead generation model. Now, there are various lead generation models. The easiest one is running ads. It's the most famous that, run an ad on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, which reaches your target audience. They see it. If they have a requirement, they contact you. Second is you can, even host webinars, like, host a webinar, invite a bunch of brands and talk to them, educate them about the importance of design, or how design can help their business, so that after the end of the webinar they can contact you for work. Or you can also network. A lot of businesses have a 90% referral rate, which means 90% of their business comes from referral. They don't run ads, they don't run hold webinars or anything. 90% of them are just from word of mouth. So you can have a referral sort of a lead generation model. It totally depends on you and your target audience, that where they are, who they are, how you talk to them. LinkedIn is a platform that we started with. Like, we started pitching clients on LinkedIn. We got inbound leads, then we started outbound leads, and that was our first step. So where there are various lead generation models, but it totally depends on the type of target audience you have. So this is the first step that you need to know while you're running your agency, or if you want to start your agency. Now, second is develop your design portfolio. This is very, very important, and I see a lot of people not having a design portfolio, just saying that I like design, I know design, and I want to work as a designer. Or, I want to start freelancing, or I want to get clients for my business. I'm a designer. That's all. Now, if somebody's coming to me saying that, I'm a designer, I know design, please hire me. What will I require? I'll require some proof, right? That show me something, what you know, show me a portfolio, show me some project, so that I can see if if you even align with my requirements, or if you even align with my work ethics, or what is your design style like, so that if my product requires it, then you are the person I can go to. So it is very important to have a design portfolio. It also is very important because if you have an online design portfolio, it works as an advertisement for yourself 24 hours. I got my first freelance project through my design portfolio that I posted on the internet. I had a website, like a basic website for myself, with my projects, with my portfolio, and a brand pitched to me. I was not even aware of, freelancing or something. Somebody approached me by looking at my portfolio, and that is how I got my first, freelance project. So it's very important to advertise yourself, have a design portfolio, spend time on it. And your design portfolio, like, that's a very separate topic, but if you have any specific questions to having a design portfolio, let me know in the comment section, so that we can take it up towards the end. Because portfolio is a very, very important aspect when it comes to designing, because not just designing, a lot of creative fields, even content writing, or photography, any creative field requires a portfolio. So yeah, that is another way. That is actually a mandate. So all these four are very, very important points. Next is network. Now, networking is, I think, a very underrated skill that a lot of people miss out. They say that, "Okay, I have a business, I am a freelancer. If somebody wants my service, they'll message me." No, you need to network with a lot of people. You need to, talk about you. You need to get the word out that you exist. Nobody's going to know that, what kind of work you do, where you're from, who you are, if you don't talk about yourself. Now, I'm not saying just, go on the internet and do like a bland sales for yourself. No, build relationships with people. There are various ways to do this. Just go on LinkedIn, look for people you want to talk with, you want to build a connection with, and then talk to them. Like, drop them a message on LinkedIn saying that, I'm so and so, I found your work interesting. Be genuine, please. Okay, everybody understands when you're just buttering, or just being fake. Be genuine and tell them that I would like to connect with you and explore potential collaboration opportunities, potential business opportunities. I would just like to chat, something. Just get them to reply to you. And it's not that you're going to message two people and then say that I didn't get a reward, so I'm not doing it again. Message at least 10 to 15 people, so that at least one or two of them reply. There are a lot of people that you might be interested in talking to, but they either don't have the time, they're not interested, this is something that they don't align with, right? It's not their fault. He's a different person, different opinions. So keep on messaging people, don't trouble them for sure. Please don't take me the wrong way, but network with them, build relationships with them, so that when next time they're talking to somebody and someone says UI UX design, your name pops up in their head and they refer you there. All right. There are a lot of networking groups also nowadays that you can be a part of. There are there are a lot of events. There's network with breakfast, network over breakfast, that happens every, I think, Saturday or Sunday on the internet now. So a lot of things that go on. Just network, talk to people, build relationships. This is something that we recently started, but it would have been so good if I started it at the start of my career, while I was learning design, while I was in college. And it would have opened up so many opportunities for me. But still, get on the train, jump right now, start networking. It will really, really benefit you, if not now, maybe in the future. Okay. Now, next is find a mentor. So, finding a mentor, I think, is one of, again, one of the most important thing that you can do as a designer. So, it's a fast way to succeed as well. By finding a mentor or a design friend who's willing to help you. They will help you speed up your learning process as well. So maybe a designer or a mentor, they would review your work, give their comments whenever possible. It's like a shortcut, right? So they would also give you tips and tricks that they learned through their experience. So go ahead, email a designer or somebody in the business sector who you inspire from, who you like. Drop them a message. And I think one of your greatest assets in becoming a UI/UX design agency or even a designer would be finding a mentor. So that is someone you can always go to with questions or concerns. Someone who is, like a source of knowledge for you and who has worked in the industry for the long time for sure. Like, somebody who has experience. You can ask a lot of questions. I started my business and I had a design mentor. So, there are a lot of paid mentorship programs as well. So, if not a free mentor, invest in a mentor program or something like that, because it will really help you speed up your process rather than you sitting figuring things out on your own, thinking that should I do this, should I not do this, or if this is the right thing, how do I negotiate with this client. Have somebody who's done this already and who can guide you through it and speed up your process. All right. Yes, so that is all that I had to talk about. Now I would really love to take up some questions and address the concerns, specific concerns that you have. So Siddhi, maybe we can take up some questions.
A wonderful presentation. We definitely got to learn a lot. We have quite a few questions there. We'll start with the first one. So Virat Sahani asked, what is the cost incurred in starting a design studio?
So Viraj, starting a design studio, you need a basic laptop with the softwares, and that's it. I think that is the one investment that is important while starting a design studio. You don't need any fancy space. If you're just starting out, you don't have the budget for getting a team. You don't have a budget to get on full-time people. Don't do it. Do something on your own. Take up one project, do the end-to-end thing for it. When you get the money from there, then invest in buying, getting somebody as an intern, a part-time, getting freelancers. But the major thing you need is just a laptop, and you can work from your home. So that's the only starting cost that is there for a design studio.
That's interesting. That's pretty interesting compared to other studios and other things that we want to start up. Next on, we have a question from Sahib Anand. He asks, can you manage a studio on your own?
Sahib, initially you should, because you should know how the functioning is. You should directly talk to your client, do the negotiations on your own, do the project initially. But as and when you grow, you'll get more projects. You will realize that you don't have the bandwidth to sit on every project and do it by your hands, right? You need to invest time in your business as well. You need to see if your lead generation model is on point, if how you're going to market yourself down the line. But for starting, of course, you can manage a studio on your own. I started as a one person team, and I didn't call it a studio back then. I called myself a freelancer. I started freelancing in 2009, like full-fledged freelancing in 2019, while I was having a full-time job as well. But when I thought that yes, now I have the budget, I can sustain myself as a design agency, that is when we invested in registering the company, getting a few people on board, and then having the technicalities of a business done. But only after I had the initial amount coming in from the business. I didn't invest anything upfront.
I have a counter question to this actually. I wanted to know that um, basically that how do you build a team in your design studio? How do you build a
Okay.
team? What all roles do you need at the starting?
Sure. So, since we are in the design industry, one major person I required was somebody who can help me with the designing, because after a point I did not have the bandwidth to sit on each and every project and do it by hand. Like I couldn't talk to a lot of clients at once and do the UI for each project. So I got on 2 3 people as starting as design people. I didn't hire full time person because I didn't wanted to I didn't have the budget to pay 40,000, 50,000 full time to each person. So I got in an intern on a stipend, and they had really helped me with the nitty gritties of design. And if the hiring process is concerned, so I, as I mentioned in the beginning, I do teach design. So my go-to strategy was to go back to those students because I know they've learned from me, and they're very eager because they're action takers, they're investing in themselves. So I went back to those students, I shortlisted a few, and I give assignments as part of the project, so I knew what their work is like, so it was very easy to hire in the beginning. But now, of course, I have somebody for content who helps me with our social media specifically. Then I have somebody who is in the HR team who helps me with shortlisting candidates on on LinkedIn, like all the resumes and going through it. And design is, of course, the main team. Like we have a lot of people in design, but content and social media, for now we have one people each.
That's interesting. Thank you so much. We'll have the next question now, and that is also from Sahib Anand. He asked, is design school actually worth it? And can you suggest which certifications are best to take up?
Okay, so Sahib, if design school is worth it, then I would say yes. If you are ready to invest that time and money into it, it is worth it. But if you are somebody who's already graduated and you can't spend 4 years, you don't want to spend that much money, then you can actually go for a certification course because it will provide you the each kind of value. Like nobody's gonna tell you that no, we can't hire you because you're not from a design school, or any person will not come to you and say I will not work with you because you're not from a design school. If you're good at what you're doing, anybody's gonna hire you. So it was worth for me because I, as I mentioned, I got access to a lot of industry people. We went on a lot of field trips to museums, and we learned the whole process of design. But I can't say if it's worth it or not because it's a very individualistic approach here. But it was good for me. Like, yeah, if like college days are always best, right? But design school is a lot of work, like we had a lot of juries. So like there have been days when like my entire class didn't sleep for 1 or 2 nights, and next day we went up, gave a jury, and came back because it's a lot of work that you need to put in. So a lot of people also drop out of the first semester because they're not able to handle that kind of pressure. So if you're really passionate, you're ready to put that much effort, then yes. Otherwise, go for a course that is equally good.
That's great. I think we can take up the second part of the question.
Okay.
And can you suggest which certifications are best to take up?
So Sahib, certifications, there are a lot of, so there's I interaction design. It's a website that gives you a certificate for each course that you attend for them. It's good, it adds value, but only if you apply what you're learning. Just by showing a certificate, if you say that I have a certificate, that's not going to help you. Apply what you're learning, and there are multiple courses, so I wouldn't say any best certificate, but there are best courses. Look for courses people teach. There's one is interaction design. There are also a lot of people on Instagram that I come across who have like a full-fledged design mentorship program, which also teaches you design, helps you with your portfolio, provides mentorship, and it's like a 6 month program which you can attain and learn from it. But don't run behind certificates, please. It will not help you in the long run, or even in the short run. For sure it might land you a interview, but after that they will still ask you for your work. Either they'll make you do some assignment, or they'll ask you for your portfolio, which you might fail if you're not applying what you're learning. So okay, don't run behind certifications, run behind the knowledge.
That's some good point there. We'll take the next question. It's from Viraj. He says, I have heard about the e-Cornell certification. Want to know from you if it's really worth it.
So Viraj, I'm really sorry, I have not heard about it, so I will not comment here.
That's great. Yeah. Um, Again from Sahib, he asks, what are inbound, outbound leads?
So good question, Sahib. So inbound leads are something that come to you. So for example, if you're on LinkedIn and somebody messages you that we saw your profile and we want to work with you on this project. That's an inbound lead when somebody who has a need approaches you. Outbound lead is something that you approach people for. So for example, there's a brand I really want to work with. I don't know whether they're hiring designers or whether they're wanting UI UX design services or not, but I'll still send them a cold email saying that I am so and so, this is how we can help you, this is these are the benefits you can attain. That is an outbound lead. So inbound is something that comes to you, outbound is something you are going out for.
Nice. Next, Hriday asks, is it good idea to start with anyone who wants something done can use my services and then move to a niche?
Um, sure, you can do that in the beginning if you're still figuring out what you want. Like even me, like I started, like, to be honest, I did 7 internships in my 4 year degree just to figure out what I want. I did paid internships, I did free internships just to figure out what I really want, because I did product designing, which where they teach a lot of products. So I've designed furniture, carpets, UI UX for sure, then smart watches, a lot of things, like a lot of products that you can imagine. I've designed all of them, and I was very confused at what I really want to do. So I did 7 different internships in 7 different fields just to understand what really sticks with me. So yes, of course, if you're very confused, you don't know, what kind of work you want, what kind of clients you want, start with something, but start. And down the road you'll realize that okay, maybe a tech startup is something that does not interest me. So I want to go for more fun based startups. So I want to work with bigger brands. You'll realize it. Don't niche down upfront, but if you are sure that I'm really good at design and ed tech is something that really, really interests me and I want to work with those startups, then yes, go. But you will have to niche down the road for sure, because working for everyone might not be a good option in terms of positioning your brand. There are multiple design agencies out there working with various kind of brands. So niching down gives you that upper hand that you're going to attract the kind of clients firstly you want to work with, and secondly it will also position you as an expert. If there's a lifestyle brand out there, they know that you are the go-to person, you're the expert in this field because you have multiple projects in this line. So that is the benefit niching down gives you.
That's interesting. Sahib Anand asks, paid mentorship programs, which ones?
So Sahib, go on LinkedIn, go on Instagram, type UI UX designer, UI UX design coach, business coach. You will find a lot of people. Go on the link in their bios. There are a lot of consultation programs. There are a lot of mentorship programs. So the one I took back in the day was from like my first mentor before starting my business also. While I was confused that whether I should go for another job or start my agency or something like this, I went to a career counselor. That's I think the most basic thing that a lot of people do when they're confused with their careers. And they had a mentorship program. Like that is where I got introduced to it. They had a monthly program where I can message them anytime with any concerns that I have, and they would guide me because they were also expert in that area. So my criteria for shortlisting was the agencies, the career counselors who have experience as business, who have already worked with brands in in this area. So, but go to Instagram and look for business coach, design coach. You'll find multiple programs. See the one, see their work, go on their Instagram profile, see what vibes with you, see the cost that aligns with you, and then go for that.
Nice. We have a follow up question from Viraj about his first question, which was about how much cost do we need. So he's confirming again properly. No cost for anything needed.
No, Viraj, no investment. If if you see any other kind of business, for example, a startup, right? A product based startup. Like if I have to run my own app, I do need some investment to hire developers, hire designers, maybe get an office, which is not really mandatory now because of the pandemic. Everything's more or less remote. But in a design studio, you just need a laptop. If you want a mouse, you need an internet connection. That's all. I started with just my laptop and internet. Like as I told you, I did not invest anything upfront. I started investing only after I saw the returns. So you do not require any cost. Work as a freelancer if you don't want to register it right now also. Like registering takes, like, I think Udyam is a website that you can register your business for free also. So you really don't have to pay anything upfront. But yes, if you don't have a laptop, invest in it, because your main asset as a UI UX designer or agency is going to be a laptop where your softwares are, your work is, where you're conducting meetings. Don't even invest in Zoom, use Google Meet, it's free. So no cost for anything.
Yes. Again from Viraj, a question: how do you set the price for your first project?
So, Viraj, there are multiple ways in which you can set your price. The most famous one that a lot of people know about is hourly rate. But that does not really work with UI UX design, because you can't set a fixed hour or time that you can work on. Creative field is something that if I'm not feeling that creative energy right now, I will not work at the moment. I might work at night, or at 2 p.m., whenever I'm aligning with the work. And it might take 2 hours to complete that project, or if I'm not really in that zone, it might take me 5 hours to do the same thing. So I can't charge hourly, and this is something that's a personal choice. Apart from this, we go for value based pricing. So, how much value my design is adding to that brand. Also, what is the amount that will really motivate me to work on that project. So for example, if some brand comes to me and says that our budget is 20,000, we need like a 10 screen mobile application, I think that 10,000 it's not worth for me at the moment, because I might get a better client. I might not be motivated enough to wake up and do that project for like 10,000 and spend 1 month designing it. So that's not the right price for me. If that same project comes to me for, let's say, 50,000, 60,000, that is something that motivates me, and is something that the brand can pay. So then I will set the project that pricing that way. But how do you set the project for your first set the price for your first project? So Viraj, I would only recommend you set a base amount for yourself. Say that if I get a website design that has 5 scrolls, 10,000 is something that I can start with. 10,000 is something that will motivate me to invest the time into designing it. Don't go below it. Set that base price for yourself. Okay, this is something that's very personal, and nobody can tell you that Viraj, no, charge 5,000 for this. 10,000 is too much, or charge 20,000 for it. When you're happy to do it in 10,000 and the client does not have the budget, it does not require a lot of time. So only you can define your price, right? See what motivates you. See what makes you excited to work on that project, and set that price.
Nice. We have a follow up comment from Viraj, and he says, as a beginner, no one would give me even 1K.
No, 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 that's not true. Okay, so I'll tell you a true fact. Like I was working full time, and I thought that after going back home, I do have spare time and I can take up some internship or some part time thing. So I went on internshala. Okay, because I was not aware about the word freelancing that time. I was not aware about contract work at that time. I thought, okay, I'll do an internship. I was fresh out of college. That was the first word that came to my mind, and I went on internshala, looked up a project, found a UI UX project that was paying 1,500, so 1,500 for like a 3-page website design that took me a month. I was like, that's great. 1,500, like minimum work after my office, I can do it. I took that. I was so happy. I was like, "Chike, I earned something above my salary." As soon as that project ended, as I was telling you, I had my portfolio on the internet. Somebody contacted me and they said that we want you to work as a freelancer. That is where the word came to my mind. I studied about it. I saw different people, and they asked me a price. Since that was an internship, I could not negotiate, and it was an internship, so no scope of negotiation. But this person came to me and they said that you tell me what you want to charge. I was like, I designed 1,500 me, though 3 websites. This is like a 10-page app. What should I charge? I blandly said 20,000, and they were like, fine, okay, we'll give you 20,000. So you have to ask for it. Nobody's gonna give you an amount. If I had said that day, ki, theek hai, 1,500 mein I did that project. Even if I charge 5,000 for this, it's a progress for me, right? But he would have given it happily. But if, like, now also, if I think that, if I would have charged 30,000, maybe that would have been a possibility. So you need to ask for it. If you say ki nahi, I will do it in 1,000, they'll be more than happy to give you, right? But ask what you want. And after that, so that was, I think, 20,000 was the least project at that time. I kept on increasing my price, I kept on negotiating, I kept on experimenting, and I reached a base price that okay, I will not charge, less than this amount to any client now, because I worked for that amount in the like, in the
In
past.
the very beginning, right?
Yeah, so ask for it. People are ready to give you if you have that knowledge. But work on your portfolio, please, because only then people will think you're worth that amount.
That's a nice point. Actually, a lot of us are going out there and talking to clients without a proof or without a portfolio, and then we get
Right.
rejected, and then we're like, why did I get rejected?
There you go. Yeah, it's very important to, have your portfolio. I spent 4 months designing my portfolio, like 4 complete months. And it's so worth it. So work on your portfolio, please, and it'll really give you fruitful results.
That's great. We can go on our next question, which is by Gayatri. She says, which one is better, doing a freelancing project or internship as a beginner?
Okay, so Gayatri, freelancing and internship are very different. Internship is something where people don't require you to know everything. They know you're a beginner, you are there to learn. So they don't require you to learn, know a lot of things. They do require you to know basic, set of information. For example, in our business, we require you to know the software. At least be acquainted with it, if not, a professional at it. You're required to know that. But if you're not familiar with, the concepts of it, or, you're still learning. We know internship is something you do out of college to learn, right? So go for an internship if you are learning. In freelancing, you are required to know what you're doing. If I'm paying you for something to, like, if I'm paying you to design my website, I need a good website. I need good results. But if the same project is for an internship, you're interning with us, and I give you a website design and you don't do it well, I know I can't blame you, right? Because I know you're a beginner, you're still learning. So if you are a complete beginner, go for an internship, learn there, and then come to freelancing. Because in freelancing, you are accountable. You are supposed to know what you're doing. Internship, not so much.
That's a nice differentiation there. So, yes. Next question from Hriday. He says, continuation to my previous question, if I select a niche upfront, then how do I target clients specific to that niche? I
Okay.
asked my first
So
previous question because it's hard to find clients at first.
okay, all right, Ritesh. So, for example, you say that I want to work with startups in the edtech sector. Sector. That's your niche for the beginning. And trust me, your niche is going to change, down the line. Like, you're going to figure out things, you're going to understand what works for you, what you enjoy the most, what, where you are able to bring results. So, for example, this is your starting niche, that you work with startups in the tech sector. Go on LinkedIn, look at the startups who are there in the tech sector, use the, filters and everything, figure out who are there in this segment, send them an email, call them. The numbers are available easily nowadays, emails are available easily on the internet. Email them, send them your portfolio, ask to set up a call, and that is how you will find your clients. So, for startups, for brands, go on LinkedIn. For bigger brands, go on Twitter. If you want to work with Instagram brands, DM them on Instagram. Okay, so this is how you find target audience in your specific niche. Use filters, send them a message to specific people only, like, people you want to work with, people in your segment, and tell them how you can help them. That is how you find your first client. But make sure you're ready with, all the proof to show them that yes, you know your work. That is why you're reaching out to them.
Yes. Okay, we have a question from Nishant, who says, how can we be up to the mark in terms of UI requirement coming from client to some tech guy who's running his startup?
So, firstly, hi Nishant. I know him. We used to work together. So, okay. So, how can we be up to mark in terms of UI requirements coming from client? So, you really need to set the scope of work upfront. You need to be very clear what the client wants, what is the end result he's expecting from you, so that you can communicate to them in their language. Okay, so set all these terms upfront, have brainstorming sessions with them, pick their brains, because if you're designing something for them, if you're developing something for a client, a lot of times what happens is, people who are starting up, they don't even know what they want. And with while working, they figure things out with you. So you need to be very sure of, what the client wants. Ask the right questions, show them proofs, counter them with, questions. If you think that, this is not the right thing for this product, tell them openly, because at the end, if your designs do not achieve the results, he's going to blame you, right? He won't say, "Okay, I didn't agree" or something. Nobody says that. So yeah, be very sure, ask the right questions, and then, talk to them. Be open with the communication.
Great. We have next question from Viraj. He says, "How can we find clients on Twitter?"
So Viraj, follow the people you want to work with, follow their tweets, see what kind of, language they use, what kind of vibe they have. Send them a DM. Take the name, send them a DM on LinkedIn if you want. If you have a solid profile on LinkedIn, send them there. If you find the, email ID from there, send them on email. But on Twitter, majorly it's about following the people who you want to work with, replying to their comments, majorly coming in their eyes, right? Coming in front of them, making yourself visible is a great way on, Twitter. But Twitter is very taxing, because, if you're trying to build a personal brand on Twitter, you have to post at least, 5 to 7 tweets per day. So it is taxing, but follow right people, comment down on, their tweets, retweet their tweets you like, then send them a DM, ask for a conversation. Don't start pitching yourself. Nobody's going to like that. You also don't like it, right? When people from the bank call saying that take a loan, or, take a credit card, a lot of people don't like that. So build a relationship with them, start a conversation, and then understand whether this person can even benefit from your service or not. You can't pitch your services, as I mentioned in the beginning. I can't go to a college student and say, buy my UI UX design service. He will not buy, right? So don't waste your time there. Build a relationship with that person first, so that next time, even if he does not want your work, next time he's there in front of somebody and they mention about it, they know who to refer. Build relationships on Twitter. That is how you get clients.
I think we have a follow-up question from Viraj, and he says, "How do I know they have need of my services?"
So there are multiple ways in, figuring out if they have a requirement or not. The most easy is to go on LinkedIn Jobs and see if they're even hiring UI UX designers, or, graphic designers, or somebody in your niche. So that is the first way to shortlisting, that yes, they do require it. Second way is send a cold email. Tell them how your services can benefit them, and create that need for your service. A lot of times people don't know that they need it. For example, somebody has like a very tacky website, and you know that if the person uses right UI UX design, it might help them get more leads. For example, send them an email, tell them about this. What they might agree with you, right? They might think that, okay, a lot of people have said that, my website is not that good, I don't get a lot of leads, I should invest in this person who is saying that, with great design I can get more leads. So you create that need in that person. So these are two ways that, just to quickly sum things up. First, go on LinkedIn, look for people who have a requirement. Second, send a cold email and create a need.
Yes, thank you. Okay, we have a question from Gayatri, and she says, "How to manage with client if client keep adding requirements while designing?" That's a nice question.
Gayatri, the first thing is, you set that, okay, I will not give you more than 2 revisions. And if there are more revisions, I will charge for it extra. This is the most easiest way to go with it. But if you have not set out these terms, like a lot of people don't know, even I didn't know in the beginning that, you need to send a formal contract and you need to lay out these guidelines. If you don't do that, be polite, tell them that, okay, I will do this change, but moving on, since it's requiring a lot of time and effort, I will be charging so and so amount for this change. You know, something like this. Be very clear, be very open about communication, because if you don't tell your client how you're feeling, your relationship is going to be very bad with them. You might not want to work with them later on. And secondly, they'll feel the same way, right? Your work will speak about all these things at the end. It will show in your work that you're not interested, there's something bothering you. So be very open, communicate. If you're feeling anything is not going according to plan, if you think that I am not, like, this client keeps on asking me for changes at 2 a.m. also. Tell them that I'm available from this time to this time. Next time, if you want any changes, I'll do it in this time. If you want any changes apart from this, we'll charge extra for it. Be very open. And a lot of time, people consider it also.
Thank you. I think we're done with the questions here, and I would like to request all the audience there, if you have any last questions, do put them. We'll be ending the session soon. And until then, I have a question from you, which is kind of a last question, and that is that what is that one advice you would like to give to all the budding designers listening to you today?
One advice that I would give is work on your portfolio, please. It's very important because even I get a lot of, resumes without a portfolio. And it's very difficult to sit and go through each resume and, I can't conduct interviews with 10 people every day. So portfolio is the first step that I or anybody takes to shortlist you. And your portfolio speaks volumes about you. It tells us what process you have, how much you know, whether it's copied or not. Everything, your portfolio speaks for you. So create a portfolio, put it out there, put it on the internet so that people can find you easily and they can approach you if your work aligns with them. And it's a very important asset for you if you're even applying for a job or an internship. So work on your portfolio and keep learning. Okay, don't stop learning because even today, I also take courses. I also learn from the internet. I take up mentorship programs to learn and upskill myself and keep up with this industry. So always keep learning. Learning never stops. And yeah, invest in yourself, learn, earn money, and do good. But be very sure that this is something you want to do. If you are in design just for money, it'll burn you out at some point, because if you're not enjoying, it's all creativity, right? You need to think a lot, you need to be creative, out of the box, research, read, talk to people. If you don't enjoy it, you're just here for the money, it might not lead to a happy ending here. So make sure you're enjoying it. You take up projects you want. There's a lot of money in this field. There's a lot of opportunities, offline, online, international, national. Keep exploring, keep learning.
That was such an enthusiastic advice. Thank you so much, Akshita. We have one last question from Sahib Anand. He says, what do you do of clients you cannot fulfill requirements of?
I didn't quite understand this question, but if you're saying that, if I have a client I am not able to do the work for, then I either refer them to a friend, refer them to some other agency, or if that's your question. The other way I see this question is that if I've started working and they're not liking my work, then I talk to them. I hold brainstorming sessions with their team and our team. We understand where the issue is and we try to solve it.
Thank you so much for so accurately putting it out. Thank you, Akshita, for handling all the questions and answering them on point. Thank you to the audience for being with here till the end. It was a very insightful talk for me as well, and I'm sure it helped all the budding designers out there as well. Make sure you all follow and reach out to Akshita using the link in the description below. We'll be meeting soon, guys. Make sure you're with us on our Discord community and are following our socials. Thank you so much, everyone. Until next time.
Thank you so much, Siddhi, and everybody who joined in.